Hello, Bronco fans and football fans alike. Welcome to Week 13 pregame between the Denver Broncos and Kansas City Chiefs. This is Broncos Breakdown. I am your host, Bronco Bill. All right, well, it's the 4-7 Denver Broncos against the 10-1 Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City Sunday night. Okay, well, let's get started. My first question is, how will Drew Lock perform after his suspension? Well, I feel that that his apology sounded scripted to me. It sounded really not sincere, but he said all the right things, and of course, that's what's going to happen when you're told what to say. Now, does he mean it? I sure hope so. I want him to have meant it. I think he's sorry from the standpoint that he got caught, sorry from the standpoint that that he looks stupid in the eyes of the NFL and his colleagues. That's for sure. How will he perform? That's my question. How is he going to perform? Because you know that if he gets sacked or he gets hit or whatever, the Chiefs players are going to be making comments. And they're going to try and get into his head, of course. So is he mature enough to shake those off? I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know how he's going to handle the criticism from the Chief players. I don't know how he's going to handle the criticism from fans that may be in the stadium that obviously you can hear. So that remains to be seen. On the injury front, Lindsey and Judy are questionable for the game. Lindsey has a knee issue, and Jerry Judy has, I think it was a leg or a hamstring. I'm not quite sure, but he's questionable as well. We all know that Callahan was put on IR earlier in the week after the game due to a foot injury. The Broncos did re-sign Will Parks, but he needs to clear COVID protocol, so he's going to be active, but I doubt that he'll be cleared enough to play. Hopefully he can. He's a nice spark back there, so hopefully he can come in and give the Broncos a good boost in the defensive backfield. Denver Broncos are 14-point underdogs, and they haven't beaten the Chiefs in 10 games. That's 5 years, guys. That's 5 years. And guess what? It's also been 5 years since Peyton Manning retired. So outside of Peyton Manning, the Broncos haven't beaten the Chiefs. Obviously, that's a streak that we like to break. I'm not quite sure when that streak's going to be broken because, I mean, Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes. And we all know that Patrick Mahomes is a magician. He's a magician at quarterback, and he does some crazy things that no other quarterbacks have ever done. So it's going to be a challenge. We're talking about the defending Super Bowl champs. We're talking about Patrick Mahomes. We're talking about the Chiefs' offense. We're talking about their coach. We're talking about their chemistry. Everything that the Chiefs have, the Broncos don't have. And they haven't had since they won Super Bowl 50 in 2016, season 2017 Super Bowl year. So if Drew Lock wants to prove to Elway and Fangio that he's the man, he has to play his best. And I don't mean just good. I don't mean just great. He has to play his best game ever played in the NFL. He has to have no turnovers. He has to have no brain lapses, run out of the pocket when you feel like you're going to be sacked, and throw the ball away. It's not hard, guys. It's not hard. I mean, sure, it was hard last week with Hinton because he's not a true quarterback. But Drew Lock is a true quarterback, and he needs to know, and when he runs out of the pocket and there's no receivers open, throw the ball away. Don't take a sack. Those mental things he needs to correct in this game for sure. if Denver's going to have any chance whatsoever of even having a great game from Drew Lock. Also, the defense needs to get turnovers. The defense needs to get at least 2 turnovers for a short field, and they need to keep Patrick Mahomes in the pocket. They need to put bookends on the end, and they need to put a spy on Patrick Mahomes. They need to keep him in the pocket and confuse him. I'm not sure that Vic Fangio is going to be able to come up with a scheme that the Chiefs haven't seen. I'm hoping he does, and I'm not sure if he can or not. By the way, if I didn't mention earlier, the Broncos are 14-point underdogs. The last time the Broncos had that large of a deficit, not counting last week, because that game doesn't count as far as being a true NFL game. The last time the Broncos had that large of a deficit, or close to that, was Super Bowl 32, when they had an 11-point underdog to the Green Bay Packers, and they beat them. But that was then. That was under John Elway. That was Terrell Davis. That was Shannon Sharp. These aren't those Broncos by any stretch of the imagination. But it's going to be tough to beat the Chiefs, especially 14-point underdogs. In regard to last week's debacle, that the NFL put the Broncos into was horrendous and pathetic. It seems that they're not going to give in and have a team forfeit as Denver wanted to do. Denver wanted to forfeit because they didn't want to get any of their guys hurt, knowing full well they didn't have a legitimate, real quarterback. The NFL office told the Broncos and the Saints that if there was a forfeit, both teams would be heavily fined. That's because the NFL wants revenue. And they get a ton of revenue for every game played. Because of TV network, because the TV networks pay the NFL money to broadcast the games. Also the commercials. Money is in commercials. Money is in fans watching the game. Whether it be on DirecTV or whether it be on pay-per-view. Whatever means that you get your football games, the NFL gets money. The NFL gets money when you watch the game and you're excited about it and you go out and you buy merchandise. All of that is wrapped up in the NFL getting paid. They're not going to cancel a game. And if you're going to forfeit a game, they're going to make you pay heavily. So Denver was forced not to forfeit the game because it would have cost them millions. And just like the Panthers, just like the Steelers and the Ravens, their game kept getting pushed back, which to me, that's what should have happened to Denver. But it didn't happen. And the reason why it didn't happen is because the Broncos quarterbacks were deceptive towards the NFL league office. If they'd have come clean and been honest, there could have possibly have been a pushback. But then again, given the Broncos not having a true owner, that was probably never going to happen anyways. As far as the game's concerned, it's Sunday night. The weather's not going to be a factor. The forecast is not calling for rain and it's not calling for snow. The temperatures are going to be mild, football standard-wise. They're going to be in the 40s. But that bodes well for Denver, at least, in the retrospect that they're not going to have to play in snow or inclement weather. Hopefully they have their footing. Hopefully they have their hands capable of catching the ball and not being wet or slippery. So hopefully that helps them out. So here comes my final comment. My final comment is this. Do I feel the Broncos will win the game? No. And the reason why I feel that it won't win the game is because I don't feel that Drew Lock is going to have the best game of his career. He's had a short career. He's very streaky. He gets confused at times, happy feet. I've mentioned this many, many times, and you guys have seen it on the field during the game. he loses focus, he loses concentration, and then everything breaks down. He has to have 0 mistakes. And what I mean by 0 mistakes is he needs to make 0 turnovers. He needs to move the ball on 3rd and downs, whether it be 3rd and short, 3rd and medium, or 3rd and long. He needs to make those conversions. If Denver is constantly forced to punt or have long 3rd downs and the Chiefs have a short to mid-range field, the game's over. The game is over because the defense cannot continue to be on the field forever. And that's something that is in complete control of Drew Lock. If he can have his career game, then possibly Denver can stay in the game and make it close. He's been inconsistent in the season. The Broncos have been inconsistent in the last 10 games they played against the Chiefs. So it's not going to be easy. But that's why they play the game. Because nobody knows for sure until the game strikes all zeros. And the game is over. There's been upsets already this year. The Broncos had an upset against the Dolphins. Albeit the Dolphins are nowhere near the Chiefs. But still, the Broncos were an underdog. Not by 14 points, but they were an underdog. So if I were you, I would not put my money on the Broncos to win or to cover. Although, in order to cover, all they got to do is lose by 13. But still, I wouldn't put my money on the Broncos, especially to win. But like I said, anything can happen. So I feel the final score is this. The Kansas City Chiefs, 27. The Denver Broncos, 10. That's it. That's my take on this pregame between the Broncos and the Chiefs. Enjoy your weekend. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't, please do so. And I always appreciate your comments. Enjoy the game Sunday night, and we'll talk to you on the post game on Monday. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.